Hi, I'm David Davis from ActualTech Media, and I'm excited to be here at the headquarters of HyTrust Security, and we're in Silicon Valley. I'm joined by Mr. Eric Chiu, who's the founder and president of HyTrust. How you doing, Eric?
Great to meet you, David. Thanks for coming by.
Great to meet you too. Yeah, it's an honor to be here at HyTrust. So, I did a cloud event yesterday, and we had many different presenters on, all talking about enterprise cloud, hybrid cloud, multi-cloud, and I asked the audience of over 500 people on at the time, what's your number one concern about moving to a cloud solution? And they all said, by far, they said security is our number one solution. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about HyTrust and kind of start with, where you guys came from, where you are now, and what do you see as the future of security at HyTrust. So tell us who HyTrust is.
Yeah, and you came at a great time. Yesterday we celebrated our 10-year anniversary of starting and founding HyTrust.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And as you probably know, in Silicon Valley, most companies do not make it to 10.
Yeah.
Actually, most don't even make it to 5. And so we're very proud of our accomplishments. And a lot of ways, we started with the basic idea. So if you sort of rewind the tape and you go back to kind of late 2007, we saw, and VMware at the time was transforming from being kind of that development test technology to customers starting to talk about using it as an enterprise platform. And we said, okay, that's going to happen, or that should happen, right? All these benefits that you get from virtualization and virtual infrastructure at the time, things like portability, flexibility, cost savings, customers want that, right?
Absolutely.
But we also said, hey, security is going to be a key inhibitor or a key enabler to making that happen. And that was the genesis of HyTrust. We believe that that transformation was going to happen, and that security, right, just like you had the event yesterday, security was going to be a big inhibitor. It still is the biggest inhibitor, to where customers want to go, which is the cloud. And so we embarked on securing virtual infrastructure, and we then over time expanded that vision, expanded that scope to include software-defined networking. And as public cloud came on the scene, kind of in that 2010 timeframe, we then expanded to include public, hybrid, and private cloud infrastructure as well. And we've grown through both our own product and vision expansion, but also acquisitions as well.
Okay.
And and so in celebrating our 10-year anniversary, we have some of the biggest customers, right? 3 of the top 5 banks, some of the biggest healthcare insurance companies, some of the biggest retailers, 2 of the biggest credit card brands, right? And some of the biggest defense and intelligence agencies that all leverage HyTrust to secure their cloud infrastructure and their cloud data. And ultimately, that enables them to move faster to the cloud and really leverage all those benefits and probably more so the agility that cloud enables today. And so in a nutshell, HyTrust is really focused on providing multi-cloud workload security, right, for customers that have infrastructure that is running in multiple cloud environments on premises, in a public cloud, and spanning in between.
Okay. So you started off as a security solution for the virtual infrastructure, and that was one of the barriers to really adopting virtualization at many companies. They were concerned about security. You solved that problem. Now companies are moving from virtualization to the public cloud and private cloud solutions, and now you're solving that security concern. So, I mean, when I think of HyTrust, I think of almost AAA authentication, authorization, and accounting for virtual infrastructures, for the cloud, and then there's a lot more to it, obviously, than that, role-based access control and encryption and much more. So as you see HyTrust moving on, I don't want to ask you to predict the next 10 years, but over the next few years, where do you see the future of security going?
Yep. So yes, that our genesis in sort of that virtualization private cloud world really gave us that foothold to protect at that time workloads which were defined as virtual machines. Today, I would define it as both virtual machines and containers. Protect them in that abstracted infrastructure, that dynamic virtualized model, which is the tenets of cloud today, right? Whether you're running it on premises on your own virtual infrastructure, or you're running it in a public cloud model, right? You're running on abstracted infrastructure that can be software defined, that's highly dynamic, that's portable, right? And so we provide not only those AAA capabilities that you mentioned, right? The ability to authenticate and enforce policy and log and provide all the reporting and data, but we're focused much more on what we call cloud SPF, right? Okay. Which is Cloud Security Policy Framework. And it's a framework to protect your workloads, again, not only virtual machines, but containers, in this multi-cloud model, which would be on-premises, right? Private cloud, hybrid, right? Where you're expanding that same model into a cloud service provider, and true public native cloud computing. And we do it by providing not only those original capabilities, right? Role-based access controls, authentication, logging and reporting, but also encryption, key management, and some of the newer capabilities that we just recently acquired, a company called Data Gravity, which is now Cloud Advisor, the ability to provide data discovery and data classification for your workloads that are running in the cloud. And I've got a great story for you, which is one of our early customers that deployed our HyTrust Cloud Advisor for data product, ran the product in their environment. They were sure they knew where, it was a healthcare company, they were sure they knew where their sensitive data was, where customer social security and PHI and PCI, all that data was. And so we said, yeah, but let us scan everything. Let's scan all your VMs, right? So we scanned all their VMs, and we found that on a public file share in their organization, they had 6,000 social security numbers, 3,000 credit card numbers, and 300 passwords in plain text on that public file share.
Oh my goodness.
There were a lot of expletives
I bet.
on that call, and that customer wanted to immediately talk to us about not only licensing that product, but also our other capabilities like encryption and key management, so we can, the goal is that we can detect the risk of customers in terms of their cloud infrastructure and where their cloud data is. Then we can automate policies, right? Maybe we can automate an encryption policy for that virtual machine because it has that sensitive and regulated data. Or we can enforce an access control policy automatically because we want to make sure that only certain people have access. Or we want to move that workload to a certain zone that's allowed to run that data. So all of those capabilities are part of what we call Cloud SPF, and providing the ability for a customer to have a true security policy framework that spans their multi-cloud environment.
Very nice. I mean, that's a huge problem at companies of all sizes, not knowing what's in their data, how much data they have, and it's growing exponentially. And if you don't know what you have, you can't possibly secure it. So it sounds like a very valuable solution, Cloud Advisor for data. Thank you so much, Eric, for sharing the story of HyTrust after 10 years, where you've come and where you're going in the future.
Yeah, it's been a great experience, and we can't wait for the next 10 years. Thank you, David.
Thank you.